We go through life and its vast experiences, very often not having the time or the space to process everything we've been through. We also assimilate this information in a very cognitive frame. We're able to say very clearly that I have experienced X or Y or Z. Sometimes the emotional baggage that we carry or the emotional struggle that we feel not aligning with it. Let's try and dive into an art activity that allows us to play with how we feel, stemming just from a scribble. For this exercise, you'll need an A3 sheet placed horizontally, oil pastel crayons, sketch pens, and some soft pastels. Feel free to go and grab any additional medium if you need to as we go along. Let's start with a sketch pen of any color that we'd like to pick up on and do a quick scribble across your sheet of paper. Once you have the scribble, feel free to move that sheet of paper in any direction, get some distance from it, and try to see if you spot an image in there. Now you don't need to stick to the same medium or the same color. Just let it inspire some creativity in you. You can change mediums if you'd like. I'm using soft pastels. Once you have your primary image from the scribble, you can also keep moving to complete the image. Add objects, images, really whatever feels right. Don't be bound by color or structure or what is, but just what you'd like it to be. Take as long as you have and as you need, and have fun creating the image. Whenever you feel done, take a minute and give a name or a title to your image. I call mine the sun float. Our next step, which you can do on a separate sheet of paper or on the same sheet if you'd like, is to write a little note to this image. We literally start off with a dear, name your image, so I could say dear sun or dear sun float, and write in a couple of lines a note which I'd like to send to this image. Dear sun float, why are you alone in the middle of the ocean? Do you need help? From, and you pen your name down there. This can be questions, this can be comments, statements, just what comes to you instinctively in that moment. The second part, and I'd like you to stay with me here, is let the sun float write a response back to you. So the sun float says to me, I'm not alone. there is a butterfly floating overhead that's watching over me. I feel comfortable in my space, knowing I am supported. But thank you for checking. And that's the sun float signing up. Sit with what you said to the image and the response you got back and what it says to you. Do you feel like it's something you needed to hear? Do you feel like it's a challenge that you're struggling with? Do you feel like it's an insight you always had but weren't sure or didn't know? Sometimes even just a little scribble can translate to a whole lot more. We started with a scribble. That scribble then became something else where we projected our experience, the images we've seen through our lifespan onto this framework. Then we wrote a letter or a note to it, which allowed us to begin to put words to this experience. And when the letter or note came back to us, that is really where the process came together. And whether it was you giving yourself affirmation, a question, a challenge, or an insight you didn't know you had, it was you, your art, your experience, creating a process of understanding beyond just the thought or the cognitive level.